We'd been paddling since early morning, watching the vast tundra roll by. We had to cover 35 miles in the dark to be sure we could meet our float plane on time. Hours of cold rain had soaked us through, but the fish didn't mind. Hundreds of sockeye salmon, as well as Arctic grayling and rainbow trout, were swimming upstream right beneath us. The Bristol Bay ecosystem serves as the headwaters and spawning grounds for the single largest and most sustainable commercial wild salmon fishery in the world. It is this very ecosystem that is at the center of one of the largest environmental battles since the 1950s. Before John McCain picked Alaska Governor Sarah Palin as his running mate in last fall's presidential election, very few outsiders knew that this wilderness existed. Hungry for Palin stories, reporters moved in, and her ties to a mining consortium that claims to have located $500 billion worth of gold and copper beneath this treasured landscape were revealed. Unfortunately, the process of extracting these precious metals would require a hole in the earth that would make it North America's largest open-pit mine. A state known for North America's highest peak would now also be known for the deepest gouge in the Earth's crust, so large it would be visible from space. The Pebble mine ore body sits almost entirely on Alaska state land, so the Pebble Partnership, a consortium of foreign mining companies sharing the claim, has to apply for a permit from the Alaska Department of Natural Resources. That department has never turned down a single application for a large mine. But there's a ferocious public opposition to the Pebble mine. Pebble plans to build a 200-mile road across an abject wilderness and the largest single structure ever built by human hands. A dam massive enough to make the Hoover Dam look puny. Not only would this utterly despoil a wilderness, vastly bigger and more pristine than anything in the lower 48 states, but the dam would have to contain 10 square miles of wastewater, so toxic that if it ever leaked, ever, at any point in all of eternity, could absolutely destroy the salmon run, the Bristol Bay fishery, and the entire ecosystem with it. That's no small issue, given that Bristol Bay salmon currently generate a third of Alaska's total fishing revenue, bringing about $226 million wholesale dollars into the regional economy. Approximately 54,000 state residents depend on that industry for employment, which is more than oil, mining, lumber, and agriculture combined. Flying over the proposed mining site in a small Cessna plane, you can look down at the tens of thousands of salmon in countless crystal clear streams, massive clots of them like red blood cells in the very arteries of the landscape. Once they're ready to spawn, salmon lay their eggs in the gravel river bottom and then simply die, by the tens of millions, in creeks and streams all over this land. Seeing them in that state is to understand how profoundly salmon really are as a keystone species, critical to the health of an entire ecosystem. Not only do they feed all those grizzlies, eagles, and vultures, and not only do their eggs support other fish in the streams, but by dying and therefore dumping hundreds of millions of pounds of nutrients onto these riverbanks every year in the form of their own decomposing bodies, salmon give birth to the riparian habitat that supports also the moose and the caribou, and in turn the wolves who prey upon them. The Bristol Bay ecosystem is a true model of sustainability, of all the things our wild spaces can be. Value isn't ripped from the earth in order to make a quick buck. Real value is in the places that sustain and nurture us all for now and for generations to come.